Have you ever walked into a room and felt the weight of every eye on you, not because of what you wore or how you looked, but because of something deeper, an unshakable presence that commands attention without a word? Maybe you've wondered what it takes to move through life with that kind of quiet strength, to radiate confidence in a world that often feels chaotic, to live with purpose when distractions pull you in every direction. In a society obsessed with quick fixes, fleeting trends, and external validation, the secret to true power lies not in what you chase, but in what you already carry within. Deep in the heart of ancient traditions, forged in the deserts of Egypt, the monasteries of Tibet, the forests of the Amazon, lie timeless practices that have guided warriors, sages, and seekers to unlock their inner power. These aren't mystical rituals or unattainable ideals, they're practical, grounded principles that anyone can embrace to transform how they show up in the world. I'm Dr. Maya Chen, a cultural anthropologist who's spent 25 years studying these ancient systems, living among communities who've mastered the art of living boldly, authentically, and with purpose. In this journey, we'll explore 7 secrets that can awaken the strength you didn't know you had. These insights aren't just philosophy, they're a blueprint for thriving in today's fractured world. If this sparks something in you, type 1 in the comments below to let me know you're here. If it doesn't resonate, type 0. Let's dive in, because the first secret is where it all begins. Picture a Bedouin elder in the Sahara, his weathered face carved by decades of sun and sand, yet his eyes burn with a fire that stops you in your tracks. I met such a man, Amir, at 78, leading his tribe through a storm with a calm that seemed to bend the wind itself. He wasn't chasing approval or rushing to prove his worth. Every step he took was deliberate, every word measured. This is the first secret: anchor yourself in unshakable intention. Ancient cultures didn't drift through life. They lived with a clarity of purpose that guided their every move. For Amir, it was the survival of his people. For a Tibetan monk I later met, it was inner peace. For you, it might be something entirely your own. Intention isn't about grand ambitions or endless to-do lists. It's about knowing why you rise each morning and letting that why shape your actions. Science backs this. Studies from Harvard show that purposeful living reduces stress hormones like cortisol by 23%, boosting mental clarity and even physical health. But here's the catch: without intention, you're a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave of distraction. I've seen it in my own life. Years ago, I was a burned-out academic, juggling deadlines and doubts, until I sat with Amir's tribe and learned to pause, to ask, what matters most today? That question became my compass. Try it now. Close your eyes, breathe, and name one thing you want to carry into this day. It could be kindness, focus, or courage. That's your intention, and it's the spark that lights everything else. Now, imagine sitting at a simple wooden table in a Tibetan monastery, the air thick with the scent of yak butter and incense. The monk across from you, Tsering, 82, pours tea with a steadiness that belies his age. His smile is gentle, but his presence fills the room like a quiet storm. He eats sparingly, a bowl of barley tsampa, a few vegetables, yet his energy hums. This is the second secret: harness the power of disciplined simplicity. Ancient traditions, from Stoics in Greece to shamans in Peru, revered moderation not as deprivation but as liberation. Tsering explained, too much clouds the mind, enough clears the path. In the West, we're bombarded with excess, endless notifications, overflowing plates, cluttered schedules. But research from UCLA shows that minimalism, even in small doses, lowers anxiety by 18% and improves decision-making. Tsering's diet wasn't about starvation, it was about savoring what nourished him. I tried it myself, swapping chaotic multitasking for single-focus days, cutting my meals to simple, whole foods. The fog lifted, I felt sharper, lighter, more alive. The cost of ignoring this is steep. Overindulgence dulls your edge, scatters your focus, and drains your vitality. Start small, choose one area, your diet, your screen time, your to-do list, and trim it by 10%. Notice how it feels. Simplicity isn't about having less, it's about making room for what matters. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the Amazon rainforest in hues of gold and shadow. I'm walking with a shaman named Kuyuri, 67, his bare feet silent on the earth, his body moving with a grace that defies the jungle's tangle. He stops to point at a vine, explaining its healing properties, then resumes his stride without breaking rhythm. This is the third secret: move with purpose, not punishment. Ancient cultures didn't chase fitness fads, they wove movement into life. Kuyuri's days were filled with walking, carrying, building, all done with a reverence for his body's strength. In Egypt, I saw elders dance at festivals, their steps joyful, not forced. Contrast this with our gyms, where we grind through workouts, chasing metrics or mirrors. A 2023 study in The Lancet found that joyful, low-impact movement, like walking or dancing, extends life expectancy by up to 7 years by reducing inflammation and boosting endorphins. I used to dread my treadmill sessions until I followed Kuyuri's example, trading machines for hikes, feeling the earth under my feet, moving to music that lifted my spirit. My body thanked me, less pain, more energy. Ignoring this secret risks stiffness, fatigue, and a disconnection from your own strength. Today, take a walk, not to burn calories but to feel alive. Let your body lead, it knows the way. Now, picture a quiet corner of a Kyoto temple, where a Zen master named Hana, 85, sits in stillness, her breath a soft rhythm against the silence. Her eyes are half closed, but her presence is electric, as if she's holding the universe in her palms. This is the fourth secret: cultivate the strength of inner stillness. Across cultures, from Taoists in China to Sufis in Persia, stillness was a gateway to power. Hannah told me, the world is noise, your strength is the quiet within. Meditation wasn't about escaping life but anchoring it. Science agrees. A 2024 meta-analysis in Nature showed that 10 minutes of daily mindfulness cuts anxiety by 25% and increases gray matter in the brain's prefrontal cortex, sharpening focus. I was skeptical until I tried it, sitting for just 5 minutes a day, watching my thoughts like clouds passing over a mountain. At first, my mind raced, but over weeks, I found a calm I hadn't known I'd lost. The cost of ignoring stillness is a mind that frays, a body that tenses, a life that feels like running on empty. You don't need a temple, just a corner, a breath, a moment to pause. Start now. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Feel the shift. Stillness is your anchor in the storm. The fire crackles in a Maasai village, casting shadows on the faces of elders gathered in a circle. Among them is Nazirian, 76, her laughter warm as she shares a story of her youth. The younger warriors lean in, not just listening but absorbing her every word, their respect palpable. This is the fifth secret: forge bonds that fuel your strength. Ancient communities, whether in Africa, Asia, or the Americas, thrived on connection, not isolation. Nazirian's power wasn't just her wisdom but the web of relationships she nurtured. Studies from the Journal of Social Psychology show that strong social ties lower mortality risk by 26%, rivaling the effects of exercise. In our world, loneliness is an epidemic. Screens replace faces, busyness trumps belonging. I felt it myself, isolated in my research, until I joined a local storytelling group, sharing tales and listening to others. It was like oxygen. Connection doesn't mean crowds, it's about presence. One deep conversation, one shared laugh. The cost of isolation is a heart that hardens, a spirit that dims. Reach out today, call a friend, join a group, or simply smile at a stranger. Your power grows in the spaces between you and others. Dawn breaks over the Andes, where an Incan healer named Quilla, 80, rises with the sun, her breath visible in the crisp air. She moves slowly to her mat, settling into a rhythm of rest that feels as sacred as her waking hours. This is the sixth secret: honor the alchemy of rest. Ancient cultures revered sleep as a bridge to renewal, not a luxury. Quilla explained, night is when the soul speaks. Her people slept in sync with the earth's cycles, free from artificial light. A 2025 study in sleep medicine found that 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep boosts cognitive function by 30% and reduces heart disease risk by 22%. I used to burn the midnight oil, proud of my hustle, until I crashed, foggy, irritable, drained. Adopting Quilla's approach, dimming lights, banning screens an hour before bed, sleeping in darkness, changed everything. My mind sharpened, my energy soared. Ignoring rest invites burnout, weakens immunity, and clouds your purpose. Tonight, try one small shift: turn off your phone 30 minutes before bed. Let rest reclaim you. Finally, imagine standing on a windswept cliff in Ireland, where a Celtic storyteller named Aidan, 79, gazes at the sea, her voice steady as she speaks of life's highs and lows. Despite loss and hardship, her eyes sparkle with a joy that feels boundless. This is the seventh secret: embrace the transformative power of gratitude. From Druids to Aboriginal elders, ancient peoples saw gratitude as a force that turns scarcity into abundance. Aidan told me, every storm brings a gift, if you look for it. Research from UC Berkeley shows that gratitude journaling increases life satisfaction by 19% and lowers depression symptoms by 15%. I was cynical once, stuck in a loop of complaints, until I followed Aidan's lead, writing 3 things each day that sparked joy: a warm coffee, a kind word, a sunset. It rewired me. The cost of ingratitude is a life that feels small, heavy, robbed of meaning. Start now, name one thing you're thankful for. Let it sink in. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, it transforms it, making every moment a step toward power. As the sun sets on this journey, think back to Amir's steady gaze, Tsaring's quiet strength, Kayuri's graceful stride, Hannah's stillness, Nazirian's laughter, Quilla's rest, and Aidan's gratitude. These aren't just stories, they're mirrors reflecting the power you already hold. The world will tell you to chase more, be more, have more, but the ancients knew better: your strength lies in what you choose to nurture within. Intention sets your course, simplicity clears the way, movement keeps you vital, stillness sharpens your mind, connection fuels your heart, rest renews your spirit, and gratitude lights your path. These 7 secrets aren't about becoming someone new, they're about remembering who you've always been. The Bedouin elder didn't need a stage to command respect, the monk didn't need wealth to radiate peace, the shaman didn't need applause to move with purpose. And neither do you. But this isn't the end, it's a beginning. Each secret is a seed, and it's up to you to plant it. Try one today, set an intention before you leave this screen, simplify one corner of your life, take a purposeful walk, sit in stillness for a minute, call someone you love, honor your sleep, or write down a single gratitude. Notice how it shifts you. The ancients didn't just survive, they thrived, not because life was easy, but because they mastered the art of living. You can too. In a world that pulls you outward, these secrets pull you inward, to the source of your power. And when you tap into that, you don't just walk into a room, you change it. I've seen it in others, and I've felt it myself. Years ago, I was lost in the noise of ambition, disconnected from my own strength. But living with these communities, learning their ways, I found a clarity that no degree or paycheck could offer. Now, I see it in the people I meet, students who rediscover their focus, colleagues who reclaim their energy, strangers who light up when they share their stories. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress, one intentional step at a time. The Bedouin elder didn't become a leader overnight, the monk didn't find peace in a day, the shaman didn't master the jungle in a single season. They built their power through small, consistent choices. So can you. Let's talk about Amir again, because his story stays with me. In the desert, where survival hangs on a thread, he led his tribe not with force but with presence. One night, as we sat by a fire, he shared a proverb: the strongest tree bends with the wind. That's intention, knowing your roots, staying flexible, standing tall. Or Tsering, who, at 82, could sit for hours in meditation yet laugh like a child over a shared joke. His simplicity wasn't a sacrifice, it was a choice to keep only what served his soul. Kuyuri, moving through the jungle, taught me that power isn't loud, it's steady, rooted in the body's wisdom. Hannah's stillness wasn't passive, it was a force, a refusal to let the world's chaos dictate her peace. Nazirian's laughter wove her village together, proving that connection is as vital as air. Quilla's sleep wasn't laziness, it was reverence for the body's cycles. And Ivan's gratitude turned a life of loss into one of abundance. These people weren't superhuman, they were human, fully alive, fully themselves. That's the power waiting for you. The world today is louder than ever, screens scream for your attention, schedules demand your time, and doubts creep in when you're not looking. But the ancients faced their own storms, droughts, wars, uncertainty, yet they thrived. Why? Because they knew where to look, within. Intention gave them direction, simplicity gave them clarity, movement gave them strength, stillness gave them focus, connection gave them purpose, rest gave them resilience, and gratitude gave them joy. These aren't relics of the past, they're tools for the present, as relevant now as they were 1,000 years ago. I've seen it work, not just in my own life but in others. A student of mine, overwhelmed by exams, started setting daily intentions and found her grades, and her confidence, soared. A colleague, burned out from corporate life, embraced simplicity, cutting her commitments, and rediscovered her creativity. A stranger I met at a workshop, isolated and adrift, joined a community group and found a spark she thought she'd lost. These aren't miracles, they're the natural result of aligning with your inner power. Let's pause for a moment, because this is where it gets real. You're not just watching a video, you're at a crossroads. The world will keep pulling you outward, tempting you with shortcuts and shiny distractions. But the path to power is inward, and it starts with a choice. Will you anchor yourself in intention, or drift with the current? Will you embrace simplicity, or let excess weigh you down? Will you move with purpose, or let your body rust? Will you seek stillness, or let noise drown you? Will you build connections, or walk alone? Will you honor rest, or burn out? Will you choose gratitude, or let resentment steal your joy? These aren't abstract questions, they're the foundation of a life that feels alive, vibrant, yours. Think about Amir's tribe, crossing the desert under a merciless sun. They didn't survive by chance. They moved as one, each step guided by a shared purpose. Or Tsering, whose simple meals fueled a mind sharper than mine at half his age. Or Kuyuri, whose every movement was a dialogue with the earth. Or Hannah, whose stillness held more power than any speech I've heard. Or Nazirian, whose laughter bound her people tighter than any law. Or Quilla, whose rest was as sacred as her work. Or Ivan, whose gratitude turned a rugged cliff into a place of wonder. These people didn't have it easy, they had wisdom, and they used it. You can too. The beauty of these secrets is their accessibility. You don't need a desert, a monastery, or a jungle. You don't need to be a sage or a warrior. You need a moment, a choice, a willingness to begin. Intention starts with a single question: what matters most today? Simplicity starts with letting go of one thing that doesn't serve you. Movement starts with a walk, a stretch, a dance. Stillness starts with a breath. Connection starts with a smile. Rest starts with a darker room. Gratitude starts with a single thank you. These are small acts, but small acts build empires. The ancients knew this, and now you do too. As I write this, I'm thinking of a woman I met in a Peruvian village, Maria, 70, who carried herself like a queen despite her simple clothes and weathered hands. She'd lost her husband, her home, yet she greeted each dawn with a smile, tending her garden, sharing stories with her neighbors, resting deeply each night. Her power wasn't in what she owned, it was in how she lived. Or a man in Kyoto, Kenji, 81, who meditated daily, moved with purpose, and spoke with a warmth that made you feel seen. These people weren't chasing power, they were living it, every day, in every choice. That's the invitation here, not to become someone else, but to become more fully yourself. The world will keep spinning, faster and louder, but you don't have to spin with it. You can stand still, rooted in intention, clear in simplicity, strong in movement, focused in stillness, alive in connection, renewed in rest, and radiant in gratitude. These 7 secrets are your map, your compass, your fire. They're not about escaping the chaos, they're about mastering it. And when you do, you'll walk into any room, any moment, any life, and know, your power isn't something you find. It's something you claim. So, where do you go from here? Start with one secret, one step, one moment. Set an intention for tomorrow, write it down, let it guide you. Simplify one part of your day, clear a shelf, skip a notification, eat a little less. Move your body, not to punish it but to honor it. Find a minute of stillness, even if it's just closing your eyes in a busy day. Reach out to someone, not because you have to, but because you want to. Protect your sleep like it's a sacred ritual. And before you close this video, name one thing you're grateful for, say it out loud. These aren't tasks, they're gifts, to yourself and the world. I'd love to hear from you. Which secret sparked something in you? Have you felt this power stirring already? Share your story in the comments, I read every one, and they inspire me to keep going. Type 1 if this resonated, 0 if it didn't. Subscribe and hit the bell for more journeys into the wisdom that changes lives. Your support fuels this work, and I'm grateful for you. Thanks for being here, let's unlock your inner power, together.